Going the Extra Mile, the fourth principle of Napoleon Hill's Science of Success, presented by Ray Cantu. Hey guys, maybe you know my story, maybe you don't, but let me just recap it for you real quick. I was able to leave corporate America at the age of 27 years old. That's not an easy thing to do. I found the wife of my dreams, which isn't easy to do as well. I got a six-pack, started my own business, moved to California, and became a public speaker, all because of what I am about to share with you tonight. Before I share what going the extra mile is all about, I feel like I need to give you a little bit of a background story. A long time ago, back in the early 1900s, two men crossed paths. One's name was Andrew Carnegie, and the other, a young journalist by the name of Napoleon Hill. Andrew Carnegie was a Scottish immigrant that came to the U.S. with nothing more than dirt in his pockets and managed to become the wealthiest person on the planet. And Napoleon Hill, the young journalist, was determined to find out why. What began as a weekend assignment to interview Mr. Carnegie turned into a 20-year project. A project that studied success like a science. From great men like FDR, Henry Ford, and Thomas Edison. But it wasn't until that young Napoleon Hill crossed paths with another gentleman by the name of Clement Stone, where a mastermind was created to continue a legacy that was started with Andrew Carnegie. And it all came in the form of the 17 principles of success that are taught in Napoleon Hill's Science of Success course. And about 1 year ago, I made the decision to help spread the message and the awareness of these principles with people just like you. In March of 2015, I attended the Napoleon Hill Foundation's Leadership Certification course, so I could be given the privilege to teach what I've been studying for the last 10 years. And that is the science of success. 17 principles that anybody can master. Just a real quick fact, there are less than 100 certified instructors on the entire planet. And it's my hope tonight that I can share with you one of these principles. But before I begin the lesson on this principle, going the extra mile, let me introduce you to the man who changed my life, Mr. Napoleon Hill.
My name is W. Clement Stone. As General Manager of the Napoleon Hill Associates, it is my privilege to introduce you to Napoleon Hill.
How do you do? I'm very happy to have this personal visit with you. Won't you be seated, please? And now, may I request that you forget all your problems and just relax while I bring you the master key with which you may unlock the door to any opportunity that your mind can conceive. The master key consists of 17 principles, the first of which is definiteness of purpose. Right here at the beginning of our visit, I'm going to make you a promise. If you will decide definitely what you want most during your entire lifetime and write it down on paper so that I can read it, I will give you the master key with which you may open the door to the attainment of your desires, whatever they may be.
Wow. Mr. Napoleon Hill has given me so much. And as you just heard, it all starts with definiteness of purpose. I'm not here to talk to you about that. Tonight, I'm here to talk to you about the fourth principle, going the extra mile. Going the extra mile, as defined by Napoleon Hill, is rendering more and better service than for which you were paid, and sooner or later, receiving compounded interest on compounded interest from your investment. For it is inevitable that every seed of every useful service you sow will multiply itself and come back to you in overwhelming abundance. He states that if you put your mind to work, assess your ability and energy, who could use your help, how can you help, that it doesn't take money. All it takes is ingenuity, and a strong desire to be of genuine service. Helping others to solve their problems will help you solve your own. The most successful people are those who serve the greatest number of people. So real quick before we dive into the lesson, I just want to share with you a few quick benefits that you'll receive by applying this principle. First off, it has a huge ROI. That stands for return on investment. What you put in is going to pay out multiplied. It's going to build a better character, a more positive attitude, a more courageous spirit, a more self-reliant personality, and prove to be an indispensable quality that will also make you an indispensable man. So let's dive into what exactly going the extra mile is. Going the extra mile is best learned by observing nature. What starts as a seed, something as simple as an acorn, turns into a mighty tree, a mighty, tough, resilient oak. There's two big laws that really define what going the extra mile is all about. One is the law of compensation. Some of us know this as the law of attraction. Basically, you reap what you sow. Some of us have learned in our childhood that you cannot receive without giving. You must first give before you receive. And that is exactly what the law of compensation is about. What you put out into this world is what you will bring back. If it's happiness, you'll get happiness. If it's love, you'll get love. On the opposite end, if it's sadness, you'll get sadness. If it's hate, you'll get hate. The second law is the law of increased returns. And this law states that the quality and quantity of service that you provide will return multiplied. No farmer in his right mind would put in all the work that he does if he got an even return on his investment. And what I mean by this is that if a farmer were to go out and buy $1,000 worth of seed, he will put in the work day in and day out to grow this seed into an abundant harvest if that harvest provides profit. And that is the law of increased returns. You can see this in something as simple as losing 20 pounds, provided you have 20 pounds to lose. When you do lose those 20 pounds, you gain so much more. For example, confidence, a positive attitude, friendliness, and so many other things. And that is the law of increased returns. So the work that you put in is going to come back to you multiplied. How about that? Isn't that awesome? Doesn't that just make you want to go the extra mile already? And the author of this philosophy, Napoleon Hill, is proof that this principle is true. When Napoleon Hill first met Andrew Carnegie, he was challenged to spend 20 years of his life to study success without compensation. The richest man on the planet challenged this young journalist, who then more than likely was just getting by, to spend 20 years of his life, devote almost half of his life without pay. Napoleon Hill knew that eventually his work, sweat, tears, dedication, and persistence would ultimately pay off. And so he agreed to the terms and supported himself as a trainer for salesmen, even though his friends and family called him a fool for doing 20 years of work and not getting paid a cent by someone who everyone knew was the richest man in the world. Now, how about that? How many times have you been called names by those that are close to you for the decisions that you've made to go the extra mile? Let's take a look at a couple more examples. Someone like Michael Jordan, or maybe even that co-worker of yours that just seems to get all of the promotions and all of the raises. Most of the time, if not all the time, the best player on the team is also the one that arrives to practice the earliest and is the last one to leave. He's the one that goes the extra mile, shoots one more free throw than everyone else. He's the guy at work that stays an extra hour or works on the weekends. They understand going the extra mile, and thus they apply the law of contrast, and that is where you separate yourself from others. It may not seem like you're getting anywhere, and you may feel a little foolish that you're putting in work that you're not getting paid to do. But the law that I stated earlier, the two laws that I shared with you earlier, they will come into your favor. It is guaranteed. Napoleon Hill even says, you can start right where you stand and apply the habit of going the extra mile by rendering more service and better service than you are now being paid for. This entire principle can be broken down into a simple equation. Q plus Q plus MA equals C. Quality of your service plus the quantity of service plus the mental attitude in it was delivered is going to equal your compensation. What does this mean? This means that the better that you help people And the more people that you help, and the happier and more gracious you are in providing that service, the more life will compensate you. That's going the extra mile. I want to end this lesson with another quote from Napoleon Hill. I maintain that so long as our system of government and free enterprise prevail, the greatest common asset to the American people consists in the privilege they have of going the extra mile whenever they like. If I had to choose but one of the 17 principles of success and rest my chances on that principle alone, I would, without hesitation, choose going the extra mile. Because this is the principle through which one man can make himself indispensable to others. And now, I would encourage you to apply this principle of going the extra mile in your life today and see how it will pay off 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, 2 years from now. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing your own success stories. This is Ray Cantu. Thank you very much.